Alright y'all, welcome back to another video here on the John Doc YouTube channel. If you don't know what's going on, it's the week of lights out. We are leaving later today. You guys will probably be seeing this video Friday maybe. And final preparation is happening. We got Jason, the Hookbook Jesus, who is our, I would say not our in-house, but our next-to-house fabricator. What's going on?
What's going on?
You are doing one of your many, I guess, attributes that you have to a racing program, which is not only the fabrication side of it, or the chassis side of it, but now you're doing the setup and the, I guess, suspension and chassis tuning of the vehicle.
Yeah, we got, I'm gonna straighten the rear end out. It's out just a little. Now I think that's why it's pushing left. So I think once we do that, I may actually just square it up, see where we're at with it, and go from there. And at least we got a baseline, so when we get down there, we've got everything in the computer, we know where everything's at, so if we need to make a bar adjustment or if we need to put some rear steering in it, we'll
be able to make that adjustment.
Yeah, we'll be good to go. So,
alright, well we're in good hands with you wrenching on it.
1-0 is what we're looking for.
1-0s. Alright, so because we don't keep anything a secret on the channel, we are underneath here with Jason. Now this is a, what do you say, it's a pretty standard 4-link setup?
Yeah.
And what makes it a 4-link for everyone at home that doesn't understand when we say we are 4-linked?
It's the upper and lower arms, just the whole setup of the way it's done. It's just a, like I said, it's a standard 4-link for drag racing. The reason people go with this setup is you have so many different adjustments front and back that you can either put more bite in the car, take bite out. The good thing is you can change from a slick to a radial to whatever you want to run with this same setup.
Now, when you say there's a lot of adjustment in bar angles, meaning, just for someone at home that doesn't understand, why are different bar angles important? What do they do? Why is it good to have the adjustability that a 4-link offers?
Well, as you can see right here, we have a lot of separation between the two back bars, and it's real close up front, meaning it puts a lot of anti-squat in the car.
And that is what everyone sees when they see the ass end of the car rise as it goes down track.
Yeah. So what it does is we want a lot of bite in the car. So that's why we run the long shocks that we run, so that we can put a ton of bite in the car. Once the car takes the hit on the tire, this tire can't handle all that power at one time. So what it's doing is it's putting the energy back into the chassis, and that's what makes this car separate. So the tire takes as much as possible, and then you have to fine tune the shocks to separate at the right speed so that you don't top it out too quick. But at the same time, you get it on up there. That way, while you're applying this power, you can push weight back to the front end and keep it from wheeling.
Keep it from wheeling. That's one of the big things. A lot of people ask, they say, why didn't you run wheelie bars? Well, the class you run, all the small tire stuff, you don't run wheelie bars. These cars really don't work with wheelie bars. No. So you use this separation, this big shock that's got like 9 inches of extension. Yeah. We use that to kind of help prevent against the wheeling. Like you said, that's also how you get to hook up. So if you guys pay real close attention as it goes down track, look at how it sits on the start line right after you bump. And then even through the 60-foot, you can see that ass coming up. All this is done with the bar angles, that is done with the shock, and you kind of have like the perfect recipe of what works. You punch everything into your computer system, you figure out what values you want, where you want the bars, what position, what lengths and all that, and not to mention, you build 4-link setups like this. Yeah,
and the good thing about putting it in the computer, like here, we're here, now's the time to do it, which I had it when we had the Pro Charger in it, but it was on my other computer, so the new setup, I put in this one, just checking it out. I knew it'd be close, and I'm real happy at where it's at. We still have plenty of adjustment in the shock for as
yeah, I thought I was wrong.
4, but we had 12 clicks.
12 clicks.
So we still got plenty of fine tuning to do with it. But yeah, and putting it in the computer, what I'll do is I put in each one of these holes in there, so if we have any issue, all we got to do is go back to the computer, and before we come under here and start making adjustments,
you can check. We can
check it on the computer and actually move the bars around on the computer. So just makes it a lot easier. Now's the time to do it. So when we get there, you know, hopefully we won't have to make a bar adjustment. I don't think we're going to. I think that once I get this rear steer deal squared away.
And that's the only thing is, you know, with applying how much power we have and with how much separation, this car very well may ride 300 feet on the back tires with the front end just slightly toted up, you know. Yeah. And I guess really, how do you steer the car then?
Well, is by the rear end. You know, because its front tires are off the ground, then the only thing that can steer it is where your rear end's going.
So for us, like the car was going a little bit left. I think we had the rear end tweaked in there a little bit. We had it pointed kind of off.
Yeah, so I'm going to pull this side in about 3/16 of an inch, which is a little aggressive, but from where it was to now, it should put us right back on point, or right there at it. I don't mind making fine adjustments there, but now's the time to go ahead. I don't like having to thrash on it, you know, and we're down there. Now we got our time. We can take our time, set it up the way we want it, and then, you know, I document everything so I know where we're at and what kind of starting point we got when we get down there. So, yeah, it's just like when we did Bad Apple, you know, the car used to push left real bad, and finally, you know, it took us about 3 times to get to the track because we kept applying more power to it. But now, I mean, you could wheelie the car.
Yeah, and that car, it'll just go straight. And now the biggest thing for that car doesn't have this adjustability in the rear and this big shock. So you see that where it kind of tops the shock out pretty quick. It's only got like 4 or 5 inches of extension, and then the power comes in, and especially with this newer turbo that comes in quicker, it likes to wheelie. So we're super lucky to have this setup, and this setup works so well. The Salty Chicken is getting pretty much an identical setup to this, and you know, everything from the dimensions of the width might be slightly different because the car is obviously either wider or skinnier, but we're gonna do the same 14 by 15 or 15 by 14s, Fab 9, same shocks, and we're pretty good with that. Now the crazy thing is, which was tough for me to understand, is the shock essentially, you know, like on an IRS car, we're always tightening up the compression because it squats. You're actually tightening up the rebound on this because you're making it harder for the shock to separate. Yeah, the compression's already super tight on a radial setup. Just for the simple fact you don't want it to squat. You know, you want it to take the hit on the tire and then make the chassis take the rest of the energy. So what you do is, if it tops out too fast, I mean, I've had cars, you know, Forest when we started putting a lot of power in it, and some of yours, it'll get out 30 feet and you'll see it rattle the tire. Well, I automatically know what to do then, start tightening the shock down. But I would rather have it roll out a little bit, knock the tire off, than to hit it instantly. So, it's definitely good to see. It's definitely good to see it take the hit and get moving, and then if it knocks tires off, say, well, we can have some chassis adjustments to run there. But if you go out there and you click the button and it hits the tires, it's like gets you feeling in your gut. You're like, damn. We got some work to do. Yeah, it's kind of hard to work off that. So I feel a lot more comfortable if I leave the rebound loose on it. Let it take that initial hit, and then if it rattles them 20, 30 feet out, I know you can deal with them. So this is pretty much a setup here. We're running some Menser shocks. These are their canisters. So as you see, you got the top adjustment there. The crazy thing is, you actually put air, or you put nitrogen, or whatever they put in there. But you can check them at the track. We had to put a little bit of air in them last time. And as you can see, this is what the car is like going down track at full separation. At ride height, it's sitting about there. So imagine this all the way down. It's got all that shaft inside of the shock itself, and as you apply power, you click the button, it starts to separate. So it's a pretty cool setup. Like I said before, Jason, one of the things that he offers, not only will he build you this setup, but he'll go to the track and do suspension tuning as well. And I think that's probably one of the best things to have is, you know, I have a pretty decent understanding of how it works, but whenever I get confused, or really whenever we make an adjustment, I shoot Jason a text, I give him a call, I say, hey man, I'm going to do this, the car is acting this way, and you know, he points me in the right direction, or agrees, and or tells me I'm an idiot and I'm doing it completely wrong. And one of those 3 things occur, and we've been lucky enough to making the right changes and getting the car to go as fast as a 104 60-foot with a turbo car. So that just shows, you know, it works, and I guess our goal would be to go 1.0 flat on a 275 would be pretty good. You know, as you apply more power, you got to tighten up that rebound and really just get everything. Really has to be working as it needs to go that fast.
It's got to be pretty.
That's flying. You know, this car to go 104 is extremely fast. I think. You know,
to me, I mean, it really is impressive. You know, because it's not as much motor as, you know, a lot of people think. I mean, it's a motor that your average guy could build.
And people don't think that. People are like, oh no, well, I mean, honestly, it's a bunch of shelf parts that
it's shelf parts that TKM could just, you know, take in and put you a stout piece together that people would have a lot of enjoyment out of, and would live a long time if you take care of it right. So,
yep.
I mean, I would definitely recommend that motor, and you know, TKM to take care of it. So
obviously it works. This combination with TKM and BPF, Brazzel Performance Fab, doing all our fab work, doing the turbo kit that makes so much power, now doing the suspension tuning, and of course we got to have it shining by DCF.
Oh yeah.
But you know, those three together, you can't really go wrong. So that's what we got going on. I know a lot of people ask about the shocks, how to get the car to 60 foot so well. How does it work? Between power management, we got Ben on the keyboard. You see Ben walking over there. Hey, Tuna Man.
Tuna.
Thanks for doing such a great job on the keyboard.
Oh, you're welcome.
So between power management and the suspension tuning, we've been able to be pretty successful, and hopefully we can go even faster. So that's what we got going on. So if you guys need a 4-link built, if you guys need a ladder bar built, if you need a rear end swap, if you need any sort of fab work, Jason's your guy to talk to. Not only will he hook it up, I mean, you do everything from building rear ends complete to just installing them, putting 4-link ladder bar brackets, everything like that. So this is your realm. You know this stuff really well. Work well with Mensers, and obviously it works. So if you guys at home need help, can't get the car to 60 foot, Jason's Instagram is always, it's on the screen here, but his link's in the description below. Hit him up. He's the guy to talk to about this. Do you want me to get away so you can actually do some work?
Yeah.
Okay.